Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are returning. My name is SarahElizabeth and this is Living Life with Sarah. Hope everybody's February is off to a good start. I hope you guys have been able to accomplish what you really needed to do this month. It's crazy how fast it's flown by. I'm currently on February break, which is what's allowing me to get this deep cleaning done in the household, so I'm very grateful for that. I'm hoping everybody's February, though, was to their standards, because certainly I think I shared January was a bit tumultuous for my family, and February has kind of been the same. Not really bad, but not great. I will say, though, it was nice to be able to celebrate my husband's birthday, which coincidentally is on Valentine's Day. He's celebrating his 29th year around the sun, so that's been fun. Today's video, as you guys can see, I am cleaning a few different spaces, my son's room, the play area, as well as the dining room. We're washing windows, walls, moldings, and getting it all done today. So in my son's room, as you guys can see, washing a lot of the walls. I moved some furniture around so I can get to the moldings as well. They were quite dirty. It's been a while since I've washed any type of window or wall or even the moldings, probably in close to a year, I hate to say. But typically on my vacations, I do a lot of deep cleaning and I get these things done. So it'll be nice to have it done for springtime. My next school vacation is not until April, and usually at that time I focus a little bit more on changing out the curtains and doing, again, not as deep of a clean, but still an extreme clean for my house if it needs it. As you guys can see here, you know, the baseboards, the moldings there were pretty dirty, so giving that a good scrub down. I use just some soap and water and Fabuloso, and just makes everything smell so much cleaner. So in my son's room, I'm sure you guys can see the mini bookshelf he has going on there. We're hoping to move that to where the little shelf is with the golden snitch clock, if you can see in the video. We're hoping to kind of get just a bigger bookshelf for him as we transition his room into more of a toddler-esque type of room. We've not started that yet. I know I said probably a video or two ago, probably my first video, we were planning to do that, and we still are. It's just trying to find something that he's into. He doesn't have a favorite TV show yet. I mean, he's only 18 months, so he doesn't watch a ton of TV. But he has a few characters that he likes when he does watch TV or from the daycare. So we're going to try and liven up his room a little bit. But certainly I wanted to get a bigger bookshelf there and hopefully do away with the rocking chair. We still do use it. He's been having a little bit of a difficult time at night as of late. We don't know if it's night terrors or when they go through that, oh my god, mom and dad are not coming back stage. But it's been a little bit rough. So that night light that I typically have in the corner has been a godsend, but now I'm wondering if I need to do a little bit of something different. Just wondering, leave it down below, but your kiddos kind of suffer from the same thing around the 18-month mark, 2-year-old, any fear of the dark? And if so, what did you guys do to kind of help ease with that transition to whether it's a toddler bed or helping them get over that fear? If you could leave that down below, I would appreciate it.
Maybe if we took a moment long enough to realize how alike we are, that not everything is broken, 'cause you know me better than anyone by far. But no one makes me feel less alive. We're fighting fire. The way you push my buttons just right. We're fighting fire. When two voices of nature collide. We're fighting fire. Can't help but feel the temperature rise. Fighting fire. We're fighting.
So here I'm working on cleaning his bedded area there in the crib. I did not take off the sheets simply because I actually changed it earlier that day. My husband had my son downstairs, was keeping him busy doing a few different activities, so I was able to deep clean his room. And if I'm going to deep clean anything in the house, it'll usually be his room, just because I honestly think he might have seasonal allergies. So I like to really keep on top of his room as best I can. And then of course our bedroom, because we both have horrible allergies. If I sound nasally, it's because spring has sprung, at least in our area to some extent. I mean, we flip-flop, we're New England. We flip-flop between cold weather and warm weather, but nonetheless, my allergies have not discriminated. They have arrived. So making sure I'm wiping everything down. Yes, it's part of a deep clean, but there's also other things to it. It kind of keeps our allergies and other things at bay. We also don't typically open a lot of the windows in springtime like most people do. I will occasionally, just to kind of air out the house, especially if somebody's been sick or something like that. But when spring officially like arrives in New England and everything is budding and blooming and all that good stuff, I cannot have the windows open. So we have the air purifier running, all that good stuff.
Maybe if we took a moment long enough to realize how alike we are, that not everything is broken, 'cause you know me better than anyone by far. But no one makes me feel less alive. Fighting fire, the way you push my buttons just right. We're fighting fire, when two voices of nature collide. We're fighting fire, can't help but feel the temperature rise. Fighting fire, we're fire.
So after cleaning up the light fixture, I did go ahead and move on into vacuuming my son's room. As you guys know, I think I shared in my first video, his room is the only room that's fully carpeted, and it's because they had just replaced it. I couldn't see the logical side of me is like, they just replaced it, we just bought the home, we're keeping it. And I mean, the dogs were never in there, and we don't have dogs because, again, I'm highly allergic. I do have a cockatiel though, yay. But really, we don't have a lot of people come up to his room, or there's not much going on there. We use it for story time or relaxed play and nap and bedtime. That's pretty much it. But it is amazing to me every time I vacuum how much comes up from the carpet. So I'm looking for suggestions as well. If you guys have a carpet cleaner or something that, a carpet washer, I should say. I've seen good things. There's one in Hoover. There's a few different kinds, but whatever your favorites are, if you guys could leave them down below for me. I'm thinking of investing in one. Again, we don't have a ton of carpet in the house. This is the fully carpeted room, but there are other carpets I'd like to kind of shampoo and wash as well. So leave that down below if you have any suggestions for me. So that there is the finished product of my son's room. Not that you can obviously tell in the video, but it just feels so clean, so fresh. It's that It's that light and airy feeling, and in April we'll be changing out his curtains. For right now, like I said, it's New England. We get snow, we get a cold day, we get a warm day in the 50s like today. So I didn't want to take out the blackout curtains. They're insulated as well. I didn't want to take them out yet, but that will be coming in the next video.
So that's just from cleaning Logan's room. So needless to say, if you guys do not clean often or wash your walls or baseboards, you may at least want to do it maybe once or twice a year, because there's not a ton of movement in his room, but just look at the water. That should speak for itself.
Alright, so we are moving on to my son's play area. So coincidentally, the play area is kind of combined with the living room. When we bought the home, I'm thinking at one point in time, maybe it was two separate spaces. It looks like they removed the wall, but I could be wrong. But this little area here is where my son plays, and he kind of has his own space. It's also shared with Snowflake, who you'll see a little bit later in the video. She is my cockatiel. So needless to say, this space, besides getting completely cluttered and unorganized because he leaves his toys everywhere, he's a toddler, it's his job, it gets very dirty because of Snowflake and the feathers she puts out, the dust, the seeds, the poops. Doesn't make me love her any less. I love her dearly. She's been in my family for 23 years, and she's an elderly birdie, but she's still my baby. But nonetheless, it gets quite dirty. So keeping on top of this is a chore, because no matter how many times we tended to clean it, it didn't feel like it was super clean. So being able to wash the walls, being able to do the moldings, the little radiators there was so important to me. This is why I chose this space to clean while he was napping, because I really needed to get it done. It was one of those things that was bugging me. Finally got to it, and just a relief to have that clean feeling and just know that there were no longer fingerprints on the wall or like crumbs and feathers everywhere.
Maybe if we took a moment long enough to realize how alike we are, that not everything is broken, 'cause you know me better than anyone by far. But no one makes
So this little section here, as you guys can see, that's my Snowflake in the corner. So moving the little bookcase that we have there of DVDs, I was floored. I dust around there and vacuum constantly under her cage, and then that general area, and the wall was just, it had feathers stuck to it. There's a ton of seeds and dust and buildup on the floor, on the moldings. I was just in a state of shock, and I guess I shouldn't be. Being a bird mom, I should know better. But it just floors me because I clean the space very, very often, and just to see how gross it was, I'm happy that I moved the furniture around. And you guys will actually see later in the video, I'm moving a lot of this furniture around, and you kind of saw what his play area looked like. You didn't see the entire room, but everything is going to change up quite a bit because I was moving things. I was in a groove, and I got too much of a groove, and my poor husband, much to his dismay, we started reorganizing the whole entire space. So it is what it is. But there's a close-up that you guys can see just all the crud on the floor. I did move Snowflake's cage. She's out of the cage when I moved it, just so, my bird parents out there know. She is resting with my husband. But I just went and moved that out, and just unbelievable the amount of feathers. So I was glad I moved that so I could get in there and really dust the area. So another thing I like to do is keep on top of the windows. A lot of the sealant around the windows tends to be cracked, I've noticed. I've had a few friends move into the neighborhood and they say the same things about these homes. So that's something we hope to address in the future, where we would just replace the windows, get a better seal. We don't get a ton of drafts. I would say my son's room probably gets the biggest draft, and from there maybe the master bathroom and office area, but nonetheless, we can see it. The windows need to be replaced. But other than that, we're kind of just living with it, but giving them a good solid clean. Very important, again, for those of you who have allergies or who love to light candles, you're going to notice a lot of the soot, whether it's on the molding or on the window itself. So I just used some warm soapy water, again with some Fabuloso, wiped it down. I also used Windex for the glass cleaner. That's my preferred glass cleaner, but if you guys have another suggestion, something that cleans just as well or streak free, I'll gladly take it. So finally, the time has come. I am taking apart his playmat. Now, I absolutely love this for him. We got it when he was probably just about 6 months. And up until now, he's going to be 18 months. And it helped him, you know, when he was running, learned to run and walk, he would fall. It was a nice soft surface he could play with. It was colorful. He knew, hey, this is my play space, my safe area. But let me tell you something. These things attract dirt and crumbs and just grossness no matter how many times you wipe on top. If you're not somebody who pulls it apart to clean underneath, I would highly suggest and recommend that you do, because you probably can't see it in the video, but there was a ton of dust and crumbs and just other things on the mat itself. Now, I've taken that apart to clean it a few times, and it just was really gross. So I'm not gonna lie, we didn't save those, we just tossed it. If we did ever have another kid in the future, we can just buy it on Amazon or something. But I was just really appalled. As nice as it looked, and I love that it brought together the play space, oh my god, it feels so good to see it gone and to have the area clean. I'm not gonna lie, in lieu of the mats, we did purchase a rug for him. It's a giant rug from Ruggable. I've never used them before, but I like the idea. If you get stains or dirt on it, you're able to throw it in the washing machine, or at least that's their premise. That's kind of their logo thing there. So I'm going to see how that works. That should be coming in the next few weeks. It has a whole bunch of wild animals or baby animals on it, and he's obsessed with animals right now, so I think it'll tie the space together really nicely. But if you guys have used Ruggable, let me know your thoughts. Worth it, not worth it. So I broke out a very different vacuum cleaner because my son is napping. Now we moved on to a different type of vacuum cleaner a little bit later, but this one is so quiet. It's a lot smaller, so for a smaller area, it works really well. I think it's called Miele. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it did the job. So after I ended up vacuuming the area, I was able to use my Swiffer wet jet and just give it a nice clean, and you could smell it, and it just, that feeling of clean was so important. But that piece of flooring there, that middle section really needed some scrubbing down. So certainly I'm going to try and keep on top of that as best I can. But as you guys can see, I'm putting the little safety plugs in there for the outlets, because that was previously where my air purifier was, but we're changing up the space and we changed it up again a little bit more. But this, you know, we were reorganizing the toys and where things kind of laid in terms of this playroom. But you'll see probably in another minute or so, again, I went to town and I changed quite a bit along with my husband. And just let me know what you guys think.
Just real quick, I wanted to show you, we were moving things around when I was doing my clean with me, and we really moved things around. So we kind of opened up the space a little bit. I need a little bit of a change, but just in case something looks extremely different to you in the video, this is why. And granted, the couch over there, the love seat, is usually over here, and we made it 2 separate spaces, and it'll probably go back to that more or less around Christmas time, just because that's where we put the Christmas tree. But for right now, I'm kind of digging it. It's a bigger space. It's still not completely done. There's toys everywhere, etc. However, in the interim, this is what it's looking like. So he has his little play area there, along with Snowflake. And it's just a little bit more open. Let me know what you think down below.
All right, so we've moved on to the dining room. This is strictly my room, just because, you know, growing up, we always had the dining room, Portuguese household. Same with a lot of Spanish households. You have the formal dining room that people eat in for holidays, you know, birthdays, special occasions, etc. So I did continue that tradition in my house. I also have a ton of things to show off, you know, things I've inherited from both sides. And I like that tradition. It might seem very old-fashioned to a lot of people, but I don't know. I like having my dining room. I also have the paintings on display that my grandfather painted years back that I was very happy and blessed to inherit. So it's a cool way to show it off. Let me know, though, are you guys into the dining room, the formal dining room? Do you just kind of like having the kitchen? I'm sure for the people who are just like minimalistic and really into just having things plain and simple, this is probably not going to be up your alley. But again, for me, it's just something I grew up with and I wanted in my home. So fun facts, before this was a dining room, when we were originally looking at the house when it was up for sale, it was actually a play area, and it always struck me as odd, just because it seemed the most put together and it didn't give off the vibe of a play area. So that's why we kind of turned it into the dining room. We were back and forth for a little bit whether that was going to be the living area, like the living room space of the dining room, but my husband and I finally decided and made it the dining room. The artwork you see in the back is going to change in the future too. We originally ordered from Wayfair, and we were both under the impression we were getting something extremely different, and that's what came in. Nice, it's nice, but it just doesn't go with the space. So there's going to be a lot of change, I would say, in the dining room over the next few years once I kind of get it to, you know, where I would like it to be. And as you can see, my son is trying to help clean. I don't usually feature him in my videos. I try not to, just to give him, you know, his privacy and to respect the privacy of my family. But he did pop in here, and it doesn't focus in too much on his face, and you don't really hear him talk, so I was okay with that. Please don't think badly of me, but I do, to an extent, have to protect my family. And you will see my husband in clips of this video, but he's somebody who's, you know, he doesn't really like to be on video either. So again, this is me sharing what I love to do, cleaning and stuff like that. So it's supposed to be for me, and he's made that abundantly clear. He does not want to be in the video, so that is okay. So as I mentioned, the dining room doesn't get a ton of traffic, but it still accumulates crumbs and other little things. My husband actually works out of the dining room. He finds it very calm, so that's where he does his schoolwork, his projects, and he just kind of sits there during the day with the light cascading through. It's actually really pretty. It has great lighting usually during the day. But it definitely still needed the vacuum. I used the wet mop in there as well. But in terms of maintenance, it's probably my favorite room because there's not a lot of maintenance that goes into it. But again, the downside, it doesn't get a lot of use. So I'm hoping to change that a little bit this year and give it a little bit more usage and just make the memories in that room like the rest of the house. So if you made it to the end of this video, I so appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on my little cleaning adventure with me, and I hope maybe you got some cleaning done yourself. Now is the time. go for the deep cleaning, get it done right before the start of spring. You'll feel better, your house will feel lighter. I have the second part of this video coming hopefully in the next day or so. It's already been filmed, it's just finding the time to edit. Typically while my son is at daycare is when I'm going to get that done, but that's going to feature the rest of the downstairs, primarily the kitchen, the hallway, and then my little tucked away bathroom. It's like the little guest powder area, but it's extremely difficult to film in there just in terms of angling, but I was able to finish the first floor, and then I have my third video that will be coming up later this week, and that's going to be the rest of the upstairs. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.